Hi, we're here with New England Independents. I'm here with Hardcore Joe Bruen. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
We're here at the WCWA show in Seekonk, Mass. Joe, you've accomplished quite a bit here in a short time for a young guy. You seem to be very motivated. What drives you to put on these wrestling shows?
Well, growing up in my early years, I've always watched wrestling on television. Obviously, I've traveled around to different independent shows, and it's just always been, a childhood dream, pretty much. Something I've always wanted to do is run shows. And there's a few people that doubted me when I first started, but I'm running shows now, and I enjoy it. It's one of the best things I like to do. I ring announce as well, and it's great. Everything about it.
Okay, people have doubted you. Who has helped you out the most?
A few guys have definitely took me under their wing over the years. Guys like Anthony Rufo, Mr. Troubleman, Iceberg Sonny D, Jose Perez, Mr. Biggs, Derek Destiny. There's been definitely a lot of guys just pouring out their help over the years, definitely, without a doubt.
So a lot of people have helped you without going out of their way to help you without much asking or anything else.
Yeah, they've been very nice, and from the get-go, I also do a wrestling talk show on television, Joe's Hardcore Wrestling, and when I first started that back in 1998, I was 16 years old, and guys like Mr. Troubleman, Anthony Rufo, Iceberg Sonny D, they just took me under their wing right away, pretty much.
What got you started running your own shows?
Well, like I said, I watched a lot of wrestling on television, and one day I was just flipping through the channels, and I used to see guys like Talking Wrestling with Cody Boynes, USWF Backyard Wrestling, Power League Wrestling was on at that time, and there's just a lot of independent shows and a lot of public access shows, and it definitely picked up my interest, and it was just another thing I've always wanted to do is run my own show, and I didn't really know if I wanted to run a sports show at that time or wrestling, but it ended up being wrestling since I started to get involved with it. So that's pretty much what I did. I started in 1998, and Cox Communications down in East Providence, and the rest is history.
I hear that show's coming back on soon.
Yeah, it's been off the air for about almost a year now, actually, and pretty much things beyond my control. Editing equipment breaks down, little things like that, and I've also been very busy with ring announcing bookings and also my personal life with work and whatnot. So I've just pretty much taken a break, but I'm working on a wrestling documentary which is titled The Truth of Wrestling, and that should be out probably by August. That'll feature interviews with all the independent wrestlers as well as some WWF, ECW talent, and it should be very interesting. Plus my talk show will be coming back. Right now it's back on East Providence Public Access on Channel 18, Fridays at 9, Thursdays at 6, but it will be returning to the Rhode Island statewide interconnect soon.
We'll put an end to you running the HWF shows.
The HWF, well, I started the HWF in 1999, and I was 17-year-old then, and I enjoyed each and every one of them. I ran about 8 or 9 shows throughout the course of 3 years or so, and due to the window broke. I don't know if you were at that show in Riverside, Rhode Island, my very first show. The window broke in a hardcore match, and pretty much got banned from that first show. So I was going to, everybody was like, I wouldn't run another show, but I went through, came here to Seekonk, Massachusetts at the American Legion. This became my new home. I ran maybe 7 or 8 shows here, and I stopped for a while. Mainly, I also, if you notice, it used to be HWF Hardcore Wrestling Federation. I took away the hardcore aspect of it. I'd still have maybe 1 hardcore match per night, but there's a lot of kids in the crowd, and it's just something I wanted to stay away from, but still have a little bit of, every fan's interest. And I turned it into the HWF, the Heat Wave Wrestling Federation. It's more family-orientated. But at the last show, there was a very hardcore match between the Vertebreaker, live wire Dave Padula, and I'm just definitely going to take a break for a while, stick to ring announcing. I co-book for the WCWA right here tonight. Ring announce for WCWA, UCW. Primal Conflict's coming back. Not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully I'll be a part of that, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. Have you got a website together yet? I know you were working on a website last I heard.
Yeah, I am working on a website. Hopefully it'll be up by late April, and we're aiming for www.hardcorejoehwf.com. Still working on that, and we'll have some details in the future for that. You can go to the Primal Conflict wrestling.com or necwwrestling.com, and they'll have the info on there once it's a go.
Is there any indie talents you'd like to bring to this area that hasn't been around here?
Well, that's one thing I always try to do was, in the New England area, bring faces that usually aren't down here. Like guys like Judas Young, guys like Miss Cara, Jeff Starr, Big Rick Fuller I brought to Seekonk. And in the future, yeah, definitely, I'd like to bring some more talent. There's guys that like Johnny Heartbreaker, Sure Thing, Ryan Wing, Christopher Daniels, Low Key, definitely some I'd like to bring in. Always looking for new faces, always trying to rotate the roster. Obviously keep, a main base roster, but bringing a few new faces each once in a while so I won't, the fans will always keep their interest.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.